Hi guys, today I will take you guys with me to the secret garden through this book, The Secret Garden. So there was a little girl named Mary and she's an orphan. She didn't have a mama or dad because her parent died from a very dangerous disease. So she lived with her nanny in a small house in India. So one day her nanny is very tired of looking after her because she had things to do, she had a lot of work to do, so she didn't have time to look after Mary. So one day she decided to send Mary to her uncle's house in the countryside. So her uncle has a very big house, like a mansion, that has over 100 rooms, so it is very big. So Mary nanny decided to send her to her uncle. So when Mary is at her uncle's house, she's very surprised because how big the house was. So she started to explore the house and she made friends with the housemaid, Martha. So the two talk with each other and soon to become best friends. So that night, Mary is sleeping on a comfortable bed and she started to enjoy her life. But the landscape surrounding the mansion is very boring. It is just miles of grass, so it is kind of boring. So the next morning, Mary started to go to the garden and started to explore. So she saw a bunch of gardens after gardens after gardens. So she started to explore and she saw that there is one garden that is locked. So she didn't know why it was locked. So she asked Martha that why is this garden locked up. So Martha just said that the housekeeper, like the owner of the house, wife died in that garden. So the house owner started to hate that garden and didn't want anybody to come into that garden. So he just basically locked it up and he didn't want anyone to come in the garden. So that makes Mary even more curious, and then she wanted to go inside that garden and see what's going on in there and what is happening in there. So one day when she is hanging out and she's going to play around in the garden, and she met a boy named Dickens. So they talk with each other, and Dickens has a special ability that he can talk to animals. He can talk and understand animal language. So he's very magical, right? So Dickens have a lot of animals that he makes friends, and he named every single one of them. So he has a robin, a bird, a red bird, and the red bird is kind of friendly to Mary. So one day Mary saw Robin fly into the locked up garden. So it makes her wonder, what is it like in the garden and what is it in the garden? So she wanted to open that door. So one day, Mary finds a key buried deep under the ground beside the garden. So she picked it up and she hid it in her dress. So the next day, she decided to open the door into the locked up garden. So when she opened it, she stepped into the garden. Boom! It is just like a new world to her because everything in the garden is so beautiful. It is like she's in her dream. She's in her own dream. So the landscape is very beautiful. Beautiful trees, grass, flowers, and she started to explore and run around the garden. So she told Dickens about the garden, and the two started to explore the garden even more. But they noticed that there's some trees are dying in the garden, so they are going to revive the trees. So in the house there was a boy. So that boy is the son of the house owner. So the boy is called Colin, and he is very sick. So all day he spent time laying on his bed, and he didn't want to go outside to meet people, or he didn't want any people to meet him. So Mary decided to meet Colin because every night Colin would scream and Colin would cry, and Mary couldn't sleep because of that. So she started to visit Colin, and the two make friends very fast. So Colin have something called a spine issue, so he can't sit and walk. So he basically lied in bed for the entire day. So he said that he missed the sunlight and he wanted to go outside. And then Mary decided to tell Colin about the secret garden. So Colin is very interested in the secret garden and told Mary that you need to tell me the story about the secret garden every day, because Colin is very curious about the secret garden. So one day Mary and Deacon decided to take Colin to the secret garden. So they pushed Colin in a wheelchair and secretly go inside the secret garden. So Colin is very amazed about what he saw in front of him. So he started to stand up because he didn't want to sit in his wheelchair anymore. So every day, Colin, Mary, and Dickens. So Mary and Dickens helped Colin to walk, and finally Colin can walk. So he no longer needs his wheelchair, and he no longer lying in his bed all day long. So now Colin can walk. So after a few months, Colin's dad, the house owner, came home from his business, and then he saw Colin walking, and he is very surprised, he is very amazed by his son, and he has said, "Are you my son?" So Colin and his dad, that day is the first day Colin's dad talk and laugh and play with the kid, and everybody in the house is very shocked and surprised to see that Colin is now walking. So yeah, that is the end of this book, and I hope you guys enjoyed this book. I have made a video about this book in Vietnamese in my channel, and if you guys want to see it, please check it out. So yeah, this is the end of this video. Please leave a like and a subscribe. Bye.